After creating that 20-second video of my enchiladas, I just think of it as art. And from what Pushpa mentioned from the instructions, it is literally all of the above that she described. I love it. It is my comfort food. It's something that my family cherishes, and it is part of my Mexican culture. So the enchiladas is a typical traditional dish that is found in Mexico, and it is very important to many Mexican families, despite being known for the taco. And whenever my mom prepares it, it just makes my tummy and myself happy. Like, it completely changes my mood. And usually when I lived in Mexico, or now that I visited, it's my to-go staple plate. Like, I would go to the local restaurants, and I would go to the chain restaurants and always order enchiladas. My favorite version of the enchiladas is enchiladas suizas, and those are a bit more cheesier. And I could get the best version ever of enchiladas suizas at my favorite Mexican store in Sanborns. It's just a brighter color, the texture is thicker, and you can just see the cheese as you pull it out of the tortilla. It's amazing. And the recipe goes like this. You obviously have to have the chicken breast, tortillas, shredded lettuce, sliced tomatoes, cheese, sour cream, 6 to 8 green tomatillos, which is little green tomatoes, 4 to 6 serrano chili peppers. It depends on the spiciness that you want out of the sauce. North Suiza dry chicken broth, or you can use the chicken broth that you boiled from your chicken breast. Chopped onion, at least 1 spoon of that, 2 pieces of garlic, water, and oil. And the process of making the sauce is you have to use the green tomatillos and the serrano chili peppers and boil them with a pan with water for 10 to 15 minutes. And once that's over, you pass them to the blender, add those in there with a little bit of the water from the pan that you just recently boiled. Add the North Suiza dry chicken broth, or the chicken broth from your chicken, the chopped onion, 1 spoon of that, the garlic pieces, and you blend that all together. And once the sauce is ready, you just add it to a different pan with a little bit of oil, and you let that heat up for at least 5 minutes. Once that's ready, you start frying the tortillas with oil back and forth, and you have to let them cool down a little bit because obviously you don't want to burn your hands right away. You grab one of the tortillas and start to add chicken. Obviously you have to shred that beforehand. So there's 2 ways to do it. The easy way out of it is using 2 forks and pulling them aside, like far ahead, so that they can shred together. Or you can use it the Mexican way, which I like it and I don't mind because I'm very patient. Use your hands to shred the chicken. And once you do, you put a little bit of chicken on the tortilla, you fold it into a taquito form, and you add the sauce, you add the sour cream, then you add lettuce, tomato, and cheese, and add a little bit of sauce on top, and that's ready for the enchiladas. So what do I love about it, and why do I rave about it the most? Because it's the smell, literally, that once my mom decides to make it, it just changes everybody's mood. Like, I remember every time when I come back from school to go to my house, I would just open the front door, and the first thing that I would notice that's coming out of the kitchen was the immediate smell of enchiladas. And like, the smell of it just literally brightens me up. You just enjoy it right away. And the way to actually eat it is that you have to eat it immediately after it's prepared, so that the tortillas absorb the liquids that it has recently been put, and you have to make sure that it avoids getting the liquids dry. Sadly, here in the US, you can't get authentic enchiladas, so I have to go wait until I'm physically here at my house in North Carolina so that my mom prepares it, or I do know how to prepare it myself, so I'll just make it whenever I'm at my dorm or at my apartment recently, since now I live there in this. But that's always something that I look forward to when I go back to Mexico.